Good morning, App Nation. Yeah, my name is Shelly Horner. I'm the head softball coach. I've been here just 2.5 years, and the past 2.5 years have been ever-changing. When I took over the program, it was obviously in disarray, and the first meeting I remember telling the team that we will win. And that's what we're doing, and we're continuing to do and continuing to build this program. Again, we have 4 student athletes here, and they're the 4 original seniors that were here when I took over the program. I had no idea what these 4, players were all about, their athletic talent, their personality, nothing. And I just can't say enough about these 4 student athletes, and you'll get to hear from them in a little while, that they have bought into the program. They've worked extremely hard. I've seen so much change in them, just obviously on their athletic performance, but also as a person. And sometimes for me, that goes a lot further in life than just on the field. Again, this is 4 years of their lives, but they have been through a lot, and they have just, again, bought into the program, bought into our coaching staff, myself, and again, they have been successful with that. So I look forward to you guys, hearing from them as well. The preseason's been a long preseason for us. We are just wanting to play somebody else. We've seen our pitchers have seen our hitters, and just looking forward to opening up against somebody else. Obviously, Virginia we start with, and then Charlotte. And so that'll be a good test for us this weekend, just to see where we stack up and what we really need to build upon. We have a young team, but we also have obviously 7 seniors, the 4 original seniors that have stayed here. This is their 4th season. And then we also have 3 transfers that have also made an impact in this program. Kaylee Kiefer at shortstop, who's been our starting shortstop, as well as Maddie Seamer, one of our pitchers as well, a senior pitcher. And then we also have Sydney Holland, who's another transfer pitcher for us. So again, 7 seniors that have led the way and continue to lead a young team with 8 freshmen. We look forward, obviously we've got some freshmen that are going to play some key roles for us, and we're excited about that, as well as we have a junior catcher that has been our starting catcher. So we've got kind of a mix, young and old team, but we're building upon what we did last year. However, last year's in the past, and we are looking forward to day in and day out working hard, getting better, working more cohesively as a team. We had really good team chemistry last year. And again, this is something that we have really worked on this fall, losing some key leadership last year. But again, these seniors have come into a really nice role of leading the team. So we're excited about that.
Ethan Joyce of the Winston-Salem Journal. First off, I know it is a new season, but just what does it do for a team to get that postseason experience and kind of be able to have that under their belt when they go into a new season like this one?
It's confidence. Last year we had a lot of confidence going into the beginning of the year. We kind of had a lull in the to the end, but then making postseason for the first time ever, it was fun. The game is supposed to be fun, but their confidence really just exploded. And I think coming back, seeing that in the fall with those returning student athletes, they play fearless now. And before it was playing with some fear of not wanting to lose. Now it's, we play fearless and we go out there with nothing to lose. I think that's kind of our mentality and what it's been since we stepped back on campus in the fall, and yet then in January when we had preseason. So that was huge for our program, a huge step going into obviously this year, but also the future for this program.
You mentioned the 4 seniors and kind of the change that they've seen and deciding to stay here and be a part of that. How do you see their impact on other players? Like where do you see it come up?
Every day. Their work ethic. I see Gabby Barato just every day doing something extra, whether it's even 5 minutes or 30 minutes, from being a non-starter to working her way into a starting role this year. So I think that just her demeanor, and all of their demeanors, obviously with Kenzie, just being our leading pitcher, she's led that staff with the other four, we've got four returning pitchers, but doing the things daily, with then Sydney Holland. Her and Sydney work really well together. They're our starting pitchers. And, I think just work ethic from that pitching staff. Sydney Russell came in as a shortstop, and I can tell you that she probably is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen in my 20 years of coaching, from the weight room to conditioning to doing it all. She has transitioned from shortstop to second base and embraced that role, so that was huge for us. But just buying in, again, I can't say enough about that. They have bought into what their roles are and the expectations of them. Carrie White has anchored down third base since she was a freshman. Had an okay freshman year, but she's athletic. She's our best hitter, returning hitter, and just eats everything up at third base. But, all of them, they do it by, some are a little more in your face. Carrie's more, a leader, by action. And then as well as Gabby. Sydney just does what she does every single day. So I think there's a lot of different ways that they show it. And even out in the community, in the classroom, they really just carry themselves very well.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Coach, could you maybe talk a little bit about the schedule, especially the early schedule? What were some of the thoughts that went into some of the places you chose to play, some of those matchups? What are the benefits you're looking for out of that? And then I'm going to have a follow-up question to schedule.
Okay. With our program right now and where we're at in the third season, just building it, my thought is we've got to play good competition, but we also have to play competition that we can compete with. Again, goes back to confidence. So we've got to be prepared for the Sun Belt. So we've got to play tough teams, but we also, cannot go out and just play, all top 10 teams in the country and not come out successful. I'm a realist, and we've got to, what I've done to build a schedule is realistically how I feel we can compete regionally in some good weather. Obviously, we're on the road for the first 7 weeks. So that's, that was something that we looked at of, can we get to some warm weather, staying within, a certain area. So headed down to Florida next week. Obviously it looks like it's going to be in the 80s, so it'll be good for us to get some warm weather. And just, again, getting outside. Charlotte should be good this weekend, dry weather. So, but again, back to your original question was just of, making sure we're having confidence, but preparing for the tough Sun Belt schedule we'll have.
And you mentioned, just the reality, we're the northern outpost of the league, so,
Sure.
You're going to play the first month basically on the road. That takes a certain type of mentality to kind of grind your way through that, but there are opportunities to build as a team when that type of thing's going on. What are some of the strategies you use and working with your veteran players to make sure that they're kind of bringing the younger players along and helping them understand here's how you manage yourself when you're away from home that much?
Sure. We kind of say it is what it is. We're on the mountain, and doing what we have to do. We don't really think about it that we've got to drive down the mountain. We've got to then get in a bus after we fly. We don't even talk about those things because it is what it is. That's just what we do here at App, and I think that really stems from, our coaching staff, from the top down, that we don't need to worry about that. All we need to worry about is staying together. And I think that's the cohesiveness. I think last year, our 10-day road trip really made us more cohesive because we were on the road with each other for 24 hours a day. And we'll be doing that again this year. But I think that helps bond our team when we are on the road. We always talk about there's a lot of females. There's only basically 2 males in our program, our 2 assistant coaches, and that's always, there's a lot of girl things that are going on. So we just kind of, make sure that we're staying, grounded, and making sure that we are staying in control of what we can control. But I think that's where our leadership of the seniors they've already talked to our younger players about what it's like to go on the road, what it's like. And we do prepare them in the fall too, but they don't know until they get into it what it's really going to be like, all that travel, preparing and being proactive with classes. But our seniors have done a really good job of making sure that they know exactly what to expect, but also what it comes down to is we're here to play. That's it.
Hi, I'm Emily Borealis. I'm a sophomore here at App, and I'm here with my sports reporting class. You were saying, that you do build this type of community when you're traveling. My question is, sports is kind of unique in the sense you can have these lifelong friends that you'll make through a leadership standpoint as well. So in the sport of softball, do you think it's more important to be a leader or a follower?
A leader, 100%. And it doesn't matter if our seniors happen to be the leaders of this program. That doesn't mean that our younger kids are not, leaders in themselves. I think you're a player on the field. So it doesn't really matter if you are a freshman or senior, and we'll have some freshmen on the field. The only thing that the upperclassmen and the returners have on those freshmen is that they've played in collegiate games. These freshmen, until this weekend, haven't played in a collegiate game. But I think that as we build this program, we're bringing in leaders right as freshmen. That's what we're looking to do, not only by their talent, but their leadership skills. And I believe that leaders, again, there's different kinds of leaders. And I believe that there's, we've got Bailey Morton. She's our junior catcher, and she leads the team on the field. That's her role. So I believe there are a lot of leaders in our program, and that excites me again for the future.
Thank you.
Hi, Cameron Stewart. I'm also a sophomore and with the sports reporting class here. So I know that this isn't happening until spring of 2021, but with the renovations happening with the softball facilities, how do you believe that renovation will benefit your team?
Every renovation around App State Athletics is going to benefit the entire athletics department. And, even if it's a little thing that is renovated, whether that's, padding somewhere or, a scoreboard, whatever it is, that is great for any type of athletics program. So, the little things that we look at, just like we look at on the field, you do the little things to make the big things. Sometimes you've got to start small and just have little renovations, but I think that's going to be really, really beneficial in the long run for any of, athletics. When you bring recruits, they're soccer recruits, football recruits, softball recruits, we see different, we've got a lot of construction going on right now, so any renovation, it's hard when you're in it, but it's always good in the future.
Thank you.
Coach George Blankenship, junior at App State. Obviously, Kinsey Longenecker, first team All-Sun Belt, first time in school history, first Mountaineer to accomplish that. Could you speak a little bit about her impacts on and off the field and what it's like to have a player of that caliber kind of leading the way?
Sure. Kenzie's been a great pitcher for, the 3 years that, she's been here. And I think her demeanor is very different this year. And obviously it's her last year. But what I like to say is that you never know when it could be your last. So even if you're a freshman, it can be taken away in a heartbeat. So again, the work ethic, you've got to work every single day. But with Kenzie, it's, we just like to make sure that she is continuing to get better, even in her repertoire of pitches on a yearly basis. And I think that obviously she's, had a good, obviously last year she had a great year, no question about that. But this year of going into her last year, making sure we're even getting better with our off speed, because obviously we play some really good competition, that I think that we need to make sure we're keeping batters off balance. And people know Kenzie. They know, obviously there's a lot of video out there of her, and people are going to watch and obviously try to pick her changeups, pick off speed. So again, just trying to hide those kind of things and make the little adjustments so that they aren't able to do that, I think is going to be really key for her, for her success this year. Off the field, she's bought into App State athletics, App State softball, and, just loves everything about being a Mountaineer. So, that's exciting from a coaching standpoint, that when people buy into loving it where they're at, just makes coaching so much better.
I'm Ella Hackett. I'm also a sophomore here at App. You talked about, what you do to stay grounded, and obviously cohesiveness as a team is important in any sport. What is the relationship like between you and the players?
I think they think I'm crazy sometimes. I think especially with these 4 seniors that are going to be coming up here, we've built a really good bond. And I think that our whole staff has built a bond with every player. We're all different. We've all been head coaches, and I think that's a positive for our program, but we all have different relationships. I think the relationships are very important. When I came here, that was the number one thing that I felt this program needed was relationships. I've always been about relationships, but I felt that this specific program needed better relationships and better mentoring, and I've enjoyed doing that. And there's really good bonds with these players, and I think there's really good bonds with the player to player. The most impactful event I feel we've done this year thus far, we went on a hike to Linville Falls and talked, and with female athletics, you need that bond. So the more you know about each other, and the more we know as coaches, we can figure out how to coach them better, because there's going to be something that goes on every day with these players that we may not know about, or they're having a bad day, but we've got to be able to relate to them and communicate. And I've felt that our relationships and our communication after that event, that hike, was just unbelievable. And they'll tell you the same thing. It was very emotional, but again, it was very important that we did it and very impactful for the program. So again, cohesiveness, the cohesiveness has been built, and I feel as we travel tomorrow, we will start even getting more cohesive, which will help us being cohesive on the field as well.
Hey guys, Ethan Joyson with the Salem Journal. Coach was obviously just talking about the leadership she's expecting from you guys and kind of the different styles. Not all of you have to answer this, but just how does it feel to be looked at that way at this point in time?
I think it's an honor. Like, we've been here for the past 4 years. We know the most. We know how it works. So, like, we can tell others how to do it, and then they can just look up to us and then keep it going for the next years to follow.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. And looking at the roster, it's kind of an interesting blend of people from different places. Certainly a North Carolina flavor to it, as you'd expect, but really almost nationwide. When it comes to kind of adapting to one another and the differences from people growing up in different places, different kinds of influences over them, how have you seen that kind of come together into a cohesive unit?
I think that we've done pretty well. I think you have to have respect for one another and how they're raised, and coming from different families. I think at the end of the day, you just have to respect person's values. So.
When you've got as many games on the road coming up as all of you do, and you're still student athletes, talk a little bit about what it takes to kind of manage through the academic part of being gone as much as you are, staying focused on those things, and the kind of discipline that, as leaders of the team, you try to pass along to some of the younger players.
I think we kind of just touch on we have to talk to our professors in advance about getting our work done before we're leaving, and just having that communication with our professors. And we try to tell the freshmen, yeah, it's hard, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. And so I think we try to help them out on academic wise. I think we try to tell them hey, make sure you're talking to your professors before we leave, and let them know in advance, and try to get all your work done, and try not to get behind in academics and stuff like that.
Any questions over here?
Any further questions from student
I
athletes?
guess Mackenzie, just being a leader on this team, some of those team bonding exercises that Coach Horner talked about, what did you guys take out of that, or you specifically from learning from that?
I know she mentioned the hike, and I definitely think our team would not be the same without that. We opened up a lot to each other, certain things I didn't even know about, even these girls beside me who I've been with for 4 years. But especially with the pitching staff, we're with each other every single day, with Coach Amanda, working hard, and then also with our catchers. You have to have that certain bond in order to perform well with each other.
Maybe just for one or two of you, just for the younger players, what kind of responsibility do you feel to kind of show them the ropes a little bit?
I think Megan at first, beside me, I'm a second baseman. I think it's just trying to make sure she's comfort and just having that trust, because I had Haley Stewart last year, and having a new player come in, just trusting the process and trusting your ability. She knows how to play softball, so pretty much just having that confidence.
Yeah, same thing. Emily, middle infielder, she's actually in the outfield this year. She will be playing left field. Just like trying to like show her how the difference is and how like outfield works and everything, and like helping her adapt into the outfield and like just having confidence in herself and stuff like that. And yeah,